Phil. Welcome to Pretty Good Cooking.
Pretty good.
Tonight on the show, we're gonna do, a recipe. Is this legit? I don't know. This is Massaman curry. Massaman. I don't know. Massaman. This is a Thai curry, and it's kind of like beef and potatoes with curry sauce on rice. Which, if you're really tuned in to PGC lore, should sound a little bit like that Japanese curry that we made. That was like, we put a lot of effort into, thought it was just okay. This is a cut and paste curry recipe, in that we're gonna cut some vegetables and then we're gonna put in the paste of the curry. Acknowledging that this is fairly low effort, we might tweak it a little bit. However, when I actually looked up recipes for the dish, almost all of them were like cook beef and potatoes and use store-bought paste. So maybe this is normal. I don't really know, but I do think it's gonna be good. So tonight, first step is to make a drink. Got actual complaints, I don't drink enough on the show. So here's a pre-poured shot of vodka that I'll put in a glass. Waterloo doesn't make lime anymore. At least I don't know if I don't think they make it. Which really pisses me off. I'm really sad. And you know what? The lemon lime is good. It tastes good, but I didn't need the lemon. I just wanted the lime. The lime was fine. Now I gotta have both of them. There's too many flavors in my seltzer. All right, now this is wacky. This is a bold maneuver. It's not. This is watermelon juice, which you can make by blending a watermelon and then straining it. Well, I didn't put it through a fine strainer, so there's still some watermelon shits. This is refreshing when it's real hot outside, which it is right now. Actually, it's miserable outside. And then you top it with the seltzer. And just like that, you've made a festive drink out of your normal drink. All right. Okay, over here in our Dutch oven, we will get heated up, and I'm gonna get some coconut oil going. Now you could use any oil. The reason I'm using coconut oil is because it is we're gonna put coconut milk in it. So it's like coconut oil, it's good stuff. It's good for you, so they say. I don't know if that's true or not. But, if you can find an excuse to slip that into a dish, you might as well. And we're gonna chop some beef. Today I'll be using top sirloin because it's what I got. And top sirloin is not really an ideal cut for this. You want more like of a stewing meat. But at the same time, top sirloin's so versatile, it's gonna be fine. It's actually gonna be pretty good, I think. But using something like a chuck roast, or you could even use a beef short rib, that'd be pretty good. Hopefully, this will break down a little bit faster. And actually, if it doesn't, top sirloin is it's got a nice chew to it, so if it doesn't break down, we'll just chew on this nice beef. I love top sirloin. I think it's one of my favorite cuts of beef. I tell you what, man, I just love it. Don't know why. Anyways, we're gonna go in a little bit of a weird direction here. We're gonna put some cornstarch on the beef, and this is the same kind of idea as you might add flour or some other thing like that. With the idea that this will ultimately thicken the curry, but just having a little bit of stuff on the outside, as it were, will help you with the browning process. And if not every piece is coated, then it's probably just me. It's probably should coat them, but that's as much patience as I have. One of the recipes I saw really was cracking me up, where it was like brown the beef on 2 sides. Unless you have more patience, then do it on all the sides. And I was like, oh, this speaks to me. But I mean, if you're making a cut and paste curry, well, you're just throwing a can in there and some other food, like, you gotta brown every side? No, don't think so. We could salt it too while we're at it. Some salt. And in an ideal world, you would do this in batches, but we'll just dump some in there. Using the bowl as a shield to protect us. It's a classic strategy. And actually, I think this is big enough we'll be able to just dump it all in there. You can see most of the starch stayed in the bowl. Fine. Because that's what tonight is. Honestly, tonight is not, we're not trying real hard tonight. And I'm only saying that in the context of, we don't typically try that hard to start with, but just really want to acknowledge that the bar is low tonight. Very low. It's down on John's feet. I'm peppering them. I don't know why. It's beef, so I gotta pepper it. We'll be back to show you what it looks like when you brown this beef. So we got a little bit of brown action, but we mainly got some sticking action, which makes me inclined to throw some more oil in there. Again, coconut oil is healthy, so they say, so you don't need to hold back. But also, like generally speaking, in a pot like this, the beef should release when it's browned on some side. And if there is some sticking, that's okay. We can deglaze it later. But this whole step, the whole point of this is to like get some of that Maillard reaction. So just give it some brown and add more oil as necessary. You can see we got some nice caramelization. Okay, I got a yellow onion here. No salmonella in this one that I know of. And did I just chop off? Yeah, don't chop off the root end. Chop off the top end. I made a mistake in this easy recipe. Very little room for error. I've already made several. Just another Tuesday. And we're gonna chop this onion. Now, I've been thinking about this onion. Man, my dog really wants to go outside. I've been thinking about this recipe and how, like, in this context, usually you would just cook the onions. Like, you would like stew them, basically. Whereas in many other types of recipes, you would probably brown them first. But really, most of what I saw for this type of cooking is that you would basically just throw them in near the end and let them get soft. But I feel like it could taste a lot better if you just, like, you know, borrowed from other techniques, as it were. Now we can see, look at how we got some nice browning, but we got even more like crazy fond on the bottom here. So here's what we're gonna do. We got the heat up pretty high, and first we're gonna throw in our curry paste. This is from the VA gang. They sent me 5 cans of various curry paste, and all of them are like one use only, I think. So you're supposed to put the whole can in there. Here it is, Massaman curry paste. It looks greasy. That's a good sign. It smells really crazy, actually. And this is why this curry is interesting, is that it's a Thai curry, so it has all of the hallmark ingredients that a regular old Thai curry would have. Galangal, you know, the shrimp paste type stuff. I actually didn't see shrimp paste in here, but maybe it's there. Lemongrass, kaffir, lime, that kind of thing. But it also has some other curry spices that you wouldn't find in Thai food. So there's cumin, there's coriander. This thing is splashing and I feel like I'm gonna die. So we'll roast that paste briefly. So this is almost like a fusion type deal. And I really gotta get that coconut milk in there pronto. You should shake the can. I don't know if I shook it enough. And it's this one brand, always their cans are so hard to open. I don't know why. It's like the top is smaller than... God damn it.
Kevin will be pleased when he sees this.
Did he struggle with this before?
Yeah, Kevin.
Just use a knife.
That's tomato.
Oh!
Phil, under here.
Wait, what's the problem?
Whose fault was it?
That was not user error. That was the fault of the can opener.
I never had that happen with the can opener.
Well, you're about to.
Oh, that's different. This is coconut milk. Okay, so we need to get that in pronto. And the whole point is we're gonna try to deglaze that bottom with the coconut. So far it's not really deglazing. This is fine. But you can kind of scrape some of the bottom bits. Or you could use something else to deglaze with, and I'm gonna actually put some elbow grease into it. So as this boils away, it should pick up some of the stuff from the bottom. And we'll just have to clean the pot when we're done. One of the things I noticed is that, like, on the can recipe and a lot of recipes, they just basically said throw one can of coconut milk in there, which really isn't that much. So you might need to add more liquid. I personally am a fan of watering it down, because too much coconut milk, you're gonna get something that's like just stupid rich. You saw how much like coconut oil we put in there. So go ahead and start with a can of water. And scrape the bottom. I can already feel that a lot of the stuff from the bottom's come off, which is good. And also my whole thing about sauteing the onions first is out the window because I forgot about that. But I do want to cook them down a lot, so I'm just gonna throw them in. So here's our onions. But we don't want to do the same thing with our potatoes, because if you overcook potatoes, they're not any good. But we can chop the potatoes. So I've got some golden potatoes here. You could peel them, but I feel like for a lot of these types of potatoes, I mean, it doesn't matter. Their skin's like really thin, and if you make fun of them, they'll be offended. So don't even bother. Don't even bother peeling them. And actually, this is a little bit more than what I was reading was recommended, but I kind of want to bulk up the curry. So just go ahead and chop it into bite-sized pieces. Just looking at these potatoes, you know, I think I grabbed too many, but roughly the same amount of potatoes, maybe a little bit more than the beef should be fine. And so those will go in later after the beef's more tender. You don't add as many vegetables in this as some other curries. I thought about adding carrots, but that appears to not be traditional at all for this. So we will, you know, I really should have tasted that paste before we threw it in. I guess I have some here. It's so funky. Golly, that is so weird. In a good way. It's like a really, really complex flavor, so it has exactly what we were talking about, where it has the Thai curry profile, and then it also has some Indian type spices in it. And the result for me is that it tastes like some weird ramen noodles that I've had in the past. Golly, that's weird. But I think that's the point. It's supposed to be kind of a hodgepodge of flavors. But with what we're, you know, what we're cooking, I'm sure that's gonna be really nice. So we are gonna bring this to a simmer and just let it cook down for a while. And I'm gonna see if I can get a little taste. Wow. Wow. Even right now, that's like crazy good with coconut milk. This is gonna be awesome. I can already tell you this is gonna be awesome. I can't wait to eat that. Okay, so once we kind of have it at a simmer already, and we have actually managed to deglaze the bottom. There's no bullshit down there anymore. So once it's at a simmer, we're just gonna go ahead and cover it, and we're gonna let the beef break down so you can walk away and do other things for a little bit. And that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do other things. You do other things, we'll do other things. We'll meet back here now. All right, it's been some amount of time. Our beef's a little bit more tender than it was, and we know that because I can kind of whack it with a spoon and it cuts fine. Could be more tender, but I picked this recipe to have a good time, not a long time. So now we're gonna add in our potatoes. And even with this amount, I am realizing it's too many, but also I don't care. And so just tuck those into the liquid. If it looks like there's not enough liquid, add some more liquid, some water. And we can turn the heat back up just to get this going. And hey, look at that, it's beef and potatoes. Where did those onions go? I don't see them. Okay, so once this gets back up to our simmer, we're gonna simmer those potatoes in the curry. And while that is going, it shouldn't take long at all, we can prep some of the toppings. And I'm adding toppings. Oh, there's gonna be one step in between. Don't worry about that. But I'm adding toppings under my broad and vague understanding of this type of food. I'll show you what that looks like here in a second. But I'm already at the stage of like, I don't think that this dish could be bad because that flavor spice combo is crazy. Beef and potatoes is good. Sauce is good. Rice is good. Toppings are good. I don't see how it could not be a success. So I'm gonna work on toppings. All right, it's been long enough. Our potatoes are cooked. The food is cooked, but this is a very important step, especially when you're making cut and paste curry. You need to taste this because you don't know what that commercial product is strong at or is weak at. Now, the quintessential flavors of Thai curry, according to me, and I'm sorry if this is wrong, you need that dank umami, you need that sour, and you need some sweetness. To change all of those elements, also you need salty too. But that's an easy one because you just add salt. For dank, if it needs more dank, umami dank, add some fish sauce. And I tasted this and I think it could use a little more. So adding some fresh ingredients, like so, not only will add a depth of flavor, it can help balance the overall dish. And does it need to cook a long time with those elements that we just added? No, not really. Oh, now that added a flavor that wasn't there before. And I think that curry paste didn't have, I don't think it had a seafood element to it. If it needs more sour, and you have galangal paste or galangal whatever, if you got galangal, you could throw some of that in. For me, personally, I don't have that. I did buy it once and it sat in my fridge for 5 years. I used it twice, I threw it out. I'm just gonna add lime juice at the end. So remember that, like, probably gonna add lime juice at the end. So I'm not gonna adjust that. I do think it could use a little more sweetness. So I'm gonna add a little bit of brown sugar. Palm sugar would be more authentic, but if you have been paying attention in the last, I don't know, 3 decades, palm sugar is very bad for the environment. So don't bother with it. I'm gonna add a little bit of sugar. Brown sugar is gonna be way close enough. And I already know I need a little bit more salt. I did just taste it. And the only thing I'll note at this point in the recipe is I think some of the pictures I saw were more orangish, more creamy looking because they had more coconut milk probably. So that went from something that tastes like it came out of a can and just adding a couple of extra ingredients, it now tastes really good. So that's way more in line with my personal taste for a curry. Now this is a very lazy recipe we're cooking tonight. So if we were, you know, doing this better, we would have made fresh rice. But I got leftover rice. So we are going to divvy out some rice. This is not the correct rice. You should probably use something like jasmine rice, but this is old sushi rice. And you can see I'm divvying it out into a bowl that I'm lightly packing. It is a little bit sticky, and I'm going to take that like so, just to make it look aesthetic, and I'm microwaving it. Don't look at my microwave. All right, and here's our fresh, hotly cooked rice, freshly cooked rice, and let's put some curry on it, or around it, either way. I think it'll be nice to kind of surround the rice with the curry. Okay, and now we can add some toppings. So I will add chopped peanut as a topping. This is optional, by the way. Add a couple of hot peppers to kick up the heat. And of course, we'll add some cilantro, which I think will be nice. And we will finish it with a squeeze of lime to introduce that sour element as well. And that's it. All right, let's give this a taste. So I'm gonna kind of mix it a little bit together. I'm gonna try to grab some of that beef. Wow, it's such a crazy combo of flavors. I'll grab a potato too. It's really good, but it's such an unexpected flavor palette. So it takes on some of like the hallmarks of food I'm really familiar with, like beef stew, right? Really savory, creamy, you know, it's thickened up. And then it on top of that, it injects like sour and like crazy fish sauce taste and like some spices from here and some spices from there. This is like, I can see in the right circumstances, like if you were served this, you could have your mind blown. We cooked this out of a can and we cut every corner possible, and yet the flavor combo is so crazy. I love it. This is really good. I almost feel like this is the opposite experience from the Japanese curry, where it was like we put in tons of work and at the end result I was like, yeah, whatever. This is so zany that like even in a bastardized form, it's good. I can't wait to eat this bowl. So if you're ever in a hurry, use a cut and paste curry recipe like this one. That's how you do it. See you next time. I'm gonna eat this food.